Hey everyone, it's been a while. I had foot surgery, but I'm back and hopefully you'll hear more from me more often. Today I wanted to go over some of the comments and questions that we've received, and the first one is very common. I won't say the name because it's a young person. We do get messages and emails from young people who want to be homeschooled and maybe they're trying to convince their parents. So I don't usually respond directly, so I'll just kind of give a general response here. I don't want to go against any parents' wishes. So if you're a young person out there and you see our videos and this is something you want to do, I would say definitely pray about it. Talk to your parents about it. Show them our videos. Do your research if you're allowed to. Find out what dual enrollment programs you have in your area. If you aren't allowed to homeschool or your parents can't homeschool you, maybe you could go through your school counselors with your parents' consent, of course, and figure out if you can do some kind of dual enrollment college early classes. And educate yourself, but please include your parents. Don't ever do anything behind their backs. But definitely pray about it. And even something that seems impossible, like if your parents work or you have a single mom or single parent who's working and you feel like it's impossible, I do believe that God can provide a way. You can get help from other relatives and maybe other homeschool families. So don't give up. It can be done. Kara C. wanted to know which colleges accept students under the age 18. And I would say that all of the ones we've been to here in Montgomery, Alabama, obviously did accept our kids. I don't know that colleges have age restrictions as much as they do grade restrictions, or they need you to be a high school graduate. So I don't think being 18 is a big deal. At least it hasn't been for us. It was always meeting the requirements to graduate from high school or meeting a test score requirement like through the ACT or SAT. If you choose to do the GED, that has an age requirement. Most states you have to be 16. I don't think there's any way around that one, and that's why we choose to accelerate our homeschooling early and graduate by 12. How do you do it for free? That's a great question. We never figured out how to do undergraduate programs for free until we discovered Bellevue University, or you could say they discovered us. And here's my pitch for them. Bellevue University is in Nebraska, and they did give our kids last 3 children scholarships. I don't know if there are undergraduate scholarships for young students as young as 12 if you're getting minimum scores on the ACT or SAT. Usually, at least I know for here in Alabama, for instance, and I could be wrong, but to get a full ride scholarship as an undergraduate to say Auburn University, I think you have to have a 35. So those scores are pretty high, and none of our kids were able to get those high scores. So I'm sorry, I don't have any free options. I know if you do some research, there are ways to earn college credit for free as a high schooler. I can't think of the names right now, those programs. If you do, you can leave comments on any programs that you know where you can earn college credits for free. And then this person also asked, what does one need to do to prepare for college? What can you be doing now? And definitely, as we talk about in our book, get your student ready for English 101. They need to know how to do a 5-paragraph essay, how to format it in Word, how to use email, how to use a website similar to citationmachine.net to make their references whatever format a teacher would be asking, whether it's MLA or APA or Chicago style. As a parent, you don't necessarily have to teach them all those things, but you can be the facilitator. You can be the editor. If you get an SAT review book, there are sample essays in there that you can use as models to prepare your writing so you can do well on those exams if you need to take them or not. Some places are making it optional now for whatever reasons. whether it was the virus or low enrollment. I just know I see billboards everywhere where the ACT and SAT are being waived. Make sure that your students are prepared so they can go right into English 101 and know how to do research online, know what credible sources are and what they are not. And also, college algebra is a good first math class. And you can use websites like Khan Academy, not necessarily just Khan Academy, but websites like that where kids are basically teaching themselves math and are self-correcting and learning how to do online work. Because it's been our experience that even when our kids went to college in the classroom, their math classes still involve software that they did independently at home and submitted at home online. So make sure, I know how people feel about their kids having internet access. Of course, you need to take your own precautions on that, but they do need to be able to turn in their work online and need to be able to use a laptop or a PC and be familiar with that, because that's what you will need in college. Also, definitely above everything is work on their character. You need to know that your children have the emotional intelligence to sit in a classroom, if you choose to have them sit in a classroom, to know when to speak, what to say, what not to say, what's TMI, what could be embarrassing if they reveal some of the holes in their education. We tell our kids if the professor mentions a famous person and they have no idea who that person is because homeschool mom here forgot to teach that, tell them not to raise their hand in class and say, I don't know who that is. Have them write it down in their notes, come home, look it up, discuss it with you, so they can have intelligent conversation and not necessarily reveal all of their education holes. Not that we're hiding anything, but everyone has education holes. I went to the California public school system and I have learned so much since I started homeschooling my kids. So many things that I should have known, but I didn't care to learn, or it wasn't presented properly, or I just skipped class that day. So I know that I have education holes and things that we missed, but they don't necessarily have to reveal those things the first day in class at the age of 11 or 12 in front of a professor who may already be skeptical about them being in their class. So just kind of brief your student on that and make sure that they are mature enough emotionally to know when to speak, when not to speak, and to be tactful. Obviously never correcting the professor, even if they know they're right. Make sure they never do that. So that's just a few things. There's more details on that in our book. And moving on, LDV asked if we still do consultations. Absolutely. I love doing consultations. I love talking to real people on the phone or through Zoom or Skype, and hearing the specifics about what folks are going through, what their kids are like, and specifically what they need. I read an interesting story this morning on the Huffington Post, and it mentioned some movie stars, Megan Fox being one of them, who has to travel and be away from her kids for work. And she said something about feeling like she didn't have a choice because they had to go to school. And that made me really sad. And when I hear things like that, I think, wow, with all the resources that people may have, how wonderful if people could and would consider homeschooling or having private tutors where their kids could travel with them all over the world and see the world, not just be in a desk and experiencing life through textbooks. It would be amazing if more and more people would choose to homeschool and kids could learn on an airplane, on a train, traveling all around the world with their parents, and with parents who know their kids best and love their kids more than anyone and know what they need. And especially if you are someone with the means to do it, there's so many aides and tutors that you could hire, and helpers and nannies and your kids could be with you on location. So that was just a thought that I had this morning, and I wish that more people would contact us and I could show them how to do it and give them the tips, and so that families could stay together even if moms do have to work. I have a few things. People ask a lot about a day in the life, like a peek into what our day looks like. And I jotted down some notes the other day when I was running errands with my kids, and these topics come up, and I think, wow, how would this ever come up in a fourth grade curriculum? Because they come up in real life. And one of the things we talk about are, this is just random subjects that in a period of going across town to maybe go grocery shopping, subjects might come up. For instance, perpetuities and how they work. We have some rental properties, and explaining to our kids how we've been blessed with that, and how if they are good stewards of it, when my husband and I are long gone, they would continue to receive those perpetuities, and how there are people that work at an hourly wage, and we'll discuss things like minimum wage and what the government is doing to raise a minimum wage. And we have all these topics as we're driving around town, and then we go into discussion about perpetuities and how what a blessing that is to have passive income. And it kind of opens up our kids' minds to not just thinking about going to college and what their salaries will be, but what they'll be able to do with their money and investing it in something like real estate, or ideas that they may have, and selling things online or whatever it may be. But I just don't think that, or at least I know that I didn't get that kind of education in school, and being able to introduce ideas like that as we're driving down the road is really a rich education that our kids would be missing out if they weren't homeschooled. And so with that, I will leave you and ask you to please subscribe and share our videos, and leave comments and lots of questions, because I love that best. And contact us, send us a message if you want to set up a consultation, and we would love to help. Thank you. God bless you.